viewers, it's still the show DEEN and DUNIYA, and we're back from our break. And the topic is still Dear Hijabis. So there's this thing about, just like how people would say, I'm a born Muslim. It's just like they've inherited Islam and they don't care to get knowledge about Islam or do more so that they obey Allah. And that's how some people that wear hijab also, maybe they don't even know why they're wearing the hijab, or it's just the culture. They told me to wear it, so I'll just wear it anyway. Or they'll be using that in the name of the religion to be doing bad things or evil things, you know. So how is this possible?
Okay, so when it comes to hijab, hijab goes beyond the apparel. It's also part of the character. And a man's hijab is to lower his gaze. And a woman's hijab too, part of it is to lower your gaze. You know, lower your gaze from looking at those things that are forbidden, or from staring at a man, you know, in admiration or in desire and all of that. When it comes to the hijab, there has been cases of several abuse of the hijab. Is it, you know, with people who are not even Muslims using the hijab in the current, you know, insecurity challenges we have in the country? Is it people who use the hijab, you know, to commit other forms of crime? Is it people who use the hijab and don't understand why they're using the hijab? So it's like Sister Rahma said, they inherited Islam and then it comes along with using the hijab. And then they just,
that's
you know,
what just they know. So
yeah,
they don't even know the impact.
They don't understand why they're even using the hijab in the first place. And like I mentioned, when it comes to child upbringing, the parent is supposed to educate the child. But as an adult, you can't say that your parent didn't teach you the essence, the true wisdom behind using the hijab. You have a responsibility to learn in whatever language you can learn. There are learning cycles in our dialect, in our local dialect. So you cannot also use lack of Western education to say that you don't understand the essence of the hijab. You have a responsibility to reparent yourself and contribute to the society. And you can always do this. You can start this at any age. If you're listening to this right now and you don't understand the wisdom and the essence of the hijab, when we say hijab, it goes beyond just the apparel. It includes the character. It includes lowering the gaze. It includes, you know, avoiding unnecessary mixing between the sexes, so that it can curb some social vices. You know, it can curb sexual violence. It can curb sexual harassment. It can curb unnecessary desires or amplifying existing desires. So the hijab is actually medicine for our soul. It's part of our tazkiyah of the soul. And you know, when it's described that the jihad of the nafs is even more than the jihad in battle. You can imagine the heat in battle, the energy, and then that's the energy you use in fighting your own desires is greater than that heat in battle. Does that make you sober? To know what you have to contend with this flesh? So wherever and whatever we're doing, we should seek the knowledge and the guide behind it. Let's stop a culture of copy and paste. Let's copy, modify and paste, and always go back to the sources, which is the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Of course, it's true, because Islam has put a landmark on how to live a peaceful coexistence, how to live a life of purpose, life of stability, tranquility, all those things like that. So modesty is very, very important, because you don't have to identify with it as a Muslim. It's very important that we represent ourselves, we identify ourselves, because Islam does not stop you from having a pleasurable and desirable life. Who says Islam cannot be fancy? you see how modest we look in looking good in your fancy abayas. When you're wearing your suits, there's how beautiful you look when you do the tarha. Look at how my sister Rahma here is looking beautifully sitting in her purple tarha. There is way that, see, modesty even boosts your confidence. They said confidence is also sexy, not in that kind of term actually, but you know that you identify as a Muslim and you represent, and your hijab does not stop you from speaking out, or does not make you less of a person in a society. It makes you even more powerful. It makes you different. Different is very important. Different is beautiful. Different is unique.
It's awesome.
By the time we embrace that, nobody can stop us. We're unstoppable. You've seen how brilliant our women are. You've seen how creative they are. Industrious. When you empower women, when they're educated, both Islamically and Westernly, you've seen the amazing things they do. We are changing the world one step at a time. So don't let stereotyping or the mindset or the typical saying that make you understand. No, just try as much as you can to identify with modesty and be not just a nominal Muslim, but a practicing Muslim.
Going back to how people see you when you wear the hijab, there is someone called Jolie Hogan, and so one day she came to make a presentation. So nobody knew who she was. So she came with full abaya, her veil, and niqab. So she just came, and then she was presenting. Then after a while, she took off the abaya. Then she was wearing graduation gown, a doctoral graduation gown, with her cap and everything. She continued. After a while, she removed that one too, and she was just wearing her trousers and shirts. So now she said, what came to your mind when you saw me with that abaya and the covering? And it would be like, maybe this is an oppressed woman. Maybe she's frustrated. Maybe she doesn't even have a voice. And you'll be pitying me. And then she said, the other gown that you saw me in, this is something that I've worked for years. I've earned my master's, PhD, different qualifications. And this makes me open to everyone. When I go to a place, people will just smile at me, even before saying anything, extending their hands for a handshake. And then she said, whilst I'm wearing my trousers and my shirt, that is just the real me. Me without the titles, without anything. So she said, this is not telling you how I am or who I am. It is actually telling me who you are, because of the assumptions that you're making, the thoughts that you're having. So people think, okay, just your appearance now says everything about you.
At all. You don't connect with people, you don't know who they are. You can't. That's another thing that I also wanted to add. We can't be the judge, jury, and executioner of people's character. Sometimes we have a way of assassination of character before even knowing the person or knowing what he stands for. You've already decided for yourself, this is the category the person is. So trying to shy away from that is also that your thoughts on that is also a step forward, because as we discuss this, we're also trying to highlight the importance of you embracing who you are. You understand, with your hijab. We're not saying you have to sew the apparel design, just like Malama said. We're saying that you need to identify and represent who you are, and that does not stop you from becoming who you are. You understand? So basically that's it.
Yeah, we can use the hijab, we can be good, practicing, upstanding Muslim women, and still be active and pursue our life's goals. The wives of the Prophet were engaged in different things at different times. Our mother Zainab was a trader. Our mother Khadija Anha was a big-time merchant. And being a Muslim woman, cannot stop you from pursuing your life's goal. It's even good for you to pursue value, to add value to yourself, because when your children see you being active, adding value to yourself, you inspire them to excellence. So you can combine both. Like some days ago, I was in a Zoom session, I was giving a class, and then I went to the office with my 18-month-old son, and then he wanted me to take him, and I picked him and put him on my shoulders, and I continued my class, uninterrupted. And then a lady that attended the class, we had the physical class, and she was like, who is that boy? And you know, when you held him, you didn't even stop for a bit. And you can combine all your roles. Pray for strength, work at it, and do your bits. You have all the resources within you to combine all your roles, and you can stay covered and do that.
That's true. Our wonderful viewers, this is still the show DEEN and DUNIYA, and our topic is Dear Hijabis. So now, our dear guests, can you tell us something that people who are struggling to use the hijab can do in order for them to be stable about it, and also those that are using the hijab, how can they maintain that and also take care of all the negativities around them?
Okay, thank you. If you're struggling, Allah sees you. If you're genuinely struggling, seek knowledge about the hijab. Be in the cycle of people who are already using the hijab. And if you're already using the hijab, take from my experience. I faced a lot of trial as regards to that, but Allah always sends support. Allah always sent somebody that was ready to champion me. Allah always sent me succor. And I always found it because I was actively looking for it. I was convinced in my heart that this was the way to go, and Allah supported me. And that's what Allah will do for you. Just stay the course. Sometimes when Allah is ready to answer your prayers, He would ask you to build a ship like Prophet Noah. So if you are in that place of building your ship, keep at it, persevere, and you'd find that sustainability will follow. Thank you so much for being here.
That's a very good advice. So, you know, if you want to make a change in the world, that all of us have opportunities, we need to open the doors to everyone, including the hijabis. You might feel like you're not part of the diversity, but know that we are all in the system and we should be part of the solution. So my dear sister, I'm telling you to wear your faith with confidence. Thank you very much, our dear guest, for coming and for accepting our invitation. Jazakumullahu khair. So stay tuned for our next episode. Inshallah, you'll find it interesting. Assalamu alaikum.